Today's just the start of the Big 12 and Power 5 talk to come. Listen to JJ and Alex Monday on your drive home. Afternoons from 3 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Segment number 2. Happy Sunday it is. 1st and 12, Alex, Kirry, Mitch, Harper. Thanks for being with us on the program. It's all brought to you by Macy's, of course, every week. Rough week for the Utes. Rough stretch of the last 6 weeks. 6 losses in a row for Kyle Whittingham and company. They go to Colorado, and Coach Prime, and I'm telling you, this thing was set up. I don't know if you noticed this, Mitch. But big noon kickoff from Fox was all there, right? Great. Awesome. You get that attention. BYU got that attention earlier this year. But then every commercial break, did you watch this?
Yes.
Every commercial break was pimping Coach Prime's new podcast that you can catch on Fox Sports. I was like, that's convenient for them to be picking this thing. And for Joel Klatt, their former quarterback, of course, to be calling the game as well. And the nation's treasure that is Gus Johnson, of course, calling the game. Give the man the Heisman right now, as he said about Travis Hunter, who showed out and had a phenomenal game. But the Utes fall 49-24. Isaac Wilson gets the start, despite the fact that everybody thought he wasn't going to get the start, and he did not look sharp. He had a couple touchdowns, couple glimpses, couple flashes there, but the 3 picks that he had on the day were absolutely really, really bad moments for the Utes, and he's still got to figure his stuff out going forward. Here's what Coach Kyle Whittingham said after the game.
Okay, first thing I'll say is that's a very good football team that we played today. Coach Sanders done a great job of getting that thing put together. I don't think there's any doubt it's the best team we've played this year. Certainly the best group of receivers, best quarterback. Quarterback's terrific. The receivers as a group they got a superstar in there obviously, but as a group they're really good. And so credit them for the win. As bad as things were, we still had a chance there in the fourth quarter. We got that turnover and had momentum and in their territory and proceeded to turn the ball over again. We had 4 turnovers, tough to win. Turning the ball over 4 times if you want to know what our main deficiencies were, it was that and the inability to run the football. We didn't run the ball anywhere near where we needed to. Disappointing. Defense, we did some good things, got 3 takeaways. Still lost the turnover margin, -1, but we didn't tackle particularly well enough. And those athletes they got over there are a big reason for that. I don't want to discount their ability and their skill, because it's a great group. They've put together an outstanding group. So as bad as things are, still 2 games away from a bowl bid. I mean, that's something right there that our guys. First of all, they're together. They work hard. There's no lack of preparation Monday through Friday. They're focused. We just can't find a win. That's where we're at. Didn't do ourselves any favors on special teams. Let the punt return for a touchdown. That's 2 weeks in a row we've had a return for a touchdown against us, which is not ideal. And so, we got certainly enough to work on to keep us busy. But again, I'll say it again: credit those guys, their coach, their coaching staff, and they're a really good football team. So, questions?
With the running issue, is that the offensive line? Is it the running backs on the same vision? Like, where do you?
I think just from watching it, we didn't get any knockoff on the offensive line. No push inside, and you got to get push inside to open up some creases. And they played very tough at the line of scrimmage, and really couldn't get anything going.
Kyle, this is, from my reckoning, I could be wrong, your first time as a head coach having a 6-game losing streak.
Right now I'm in the twilight zone, so I guess that could be. I don't know. It's the most difficult year of my coaching career, hands down, not even close. I can tell you that. If that makes you feel better, maybe not. I don't know.
In terms of this program and the state that it's in, what do you feel like needs to change when you look at the course of this?
Well, we've got to get, today was the run game. We got to get better overall throwing the football. And really, defensively, if you just look at sheer numbers, prior to this game, number 1 in total defense, number 1 in scoring defense, number 1 in third down defense, and we're doing a lot of good things. Now that's probably going to suffer after this game, but our main issues this year have been on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, there's no secret about that, and we just got to keep recruiting. That's number 1. Keep recruiting players and try to get things solved. But we're just not potent enough on offense. And again, if you look just statistically, as good as we are in D, we're that far down the ladder on offense in those statistical categories.
Coach, you started off the game really great with the
Yeah.
INT, but then there was that part. But fourth quarter, what did you see that started to get put together for you and moving the ball, and what was happening that changed the game there?
I had gotten a little bit of a rhythm there for a minute and was connected on some passes, getting the ball out quicker, going through his read progression quicker. The protection was a little bit better for a period of time. And so I would say that was the reason for that production spurt that we had there. And you mentioned we had the interception early, which was great, but we didn't capitalize. They had to settle for a field goal. So that's, in fact, the first three trips that we got deep in their territory, we had to settle for field goals each time. That's and again, we've talked about that throughout the course of the year, that it's tough to win games if you're settling for field goals.
Does he practice this week?
He practiced about half the week. Yeah, he was. We didn't know if he was going to be able to play up until probably last night. We had an indication that he was turning the corner and going to be able to function. And so, give him credit. He fought, he battled, and he was not feeling like his usual self, but he hung in there.
Where do you feel like Isaac needs to improve to kind of progress?
Well, we need to get the completion percentage up. We need to get the interceptions down. That's a starting point. We're still, right around 50% completion and too many interceptions.
Do you feel like
Final
he
question.
was, going through his reads a little faster, a little better in the second half?
Yes, yeah, he started to get a little, like I said, a little bit of a rhythm for a little stretch of time there, and just a freshman, he's learning. I mean, he's learning as we go, and he's a guy that does not lack confidence. My guess is he'll come back. He's a resilient kid. He'll come back and get ready for the next one. So, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
And that was Kyle Whittingham after Utah falls to Colorado, 49-24. There were moments where it felt like Utah was, hanging around, but Colorado put it on the Utes. 21 points in the fourth quarter, but kind of note, Kyle Whittingham noting that this was the best team they've faced this year. Indirect shot at BYU.
Why not? I mean, listen, and the reality is that's what we saw. Look, Colorado's not mistake-proof. We've seen that every week, Mitch. Like, Shedeur Sanders will make mistakes. He threw that pick the second play of the game or the first play of the game? First play of the game. Lander Barton steps in front of that thing, and I thought, man, Shedeur Sanders, all the lead up to this thing, and then this kid out of Brighton High School who's also going to be in the NFL and someday. Like, I mean, my goodness, I thought maybe that they could turn some things around and maybe slow down Colorado, but Colorado, even though they had multiple moments of not looking very good, Shedeur Sanders with 2 bad turnovers himself, they still end up putting 49 up on the Utes, and at some point you think that whole program is just getting worn down by the narrative that's off the field, as well as all the injuries that are happening on the field. It's just it's a really rough time for Whit and his guys.
I'm telling you, Alex, it's the best thing, and I know it sounds crazy, but I really think it'll be the best thing for Utah to just go into the offseason. You can't tell me that a bowl game would benefit.
Oh,
this
absolutely
team.
not.
It's just,
absolutely not.
The whole myth of 15 practices, maybe 5 years ago that meant something.
Yeah.
Now it's about getting a head start on the portal.
Well,
I just think this loss, now you're starting to game plan for the offseason, in my opinion, after this loss.
It's a perfect point, and I think to add on to that, Mike Bajakian's not going to be your offensive coordinator, obviously. And so why do you need 15 extra practices with a guy that you're probably just going to end up letting go anyway in the offseason? Or I don't know if they're going to let him go, but – and I'm not wishing any ill on this guy, but this is not the future for their offense. They already let go their offensive coordinator halfway through the year. The interim is not the answer. They've got to go in a drastic different direction if they're going to have any sort of success, and if you're going to capitalize on the talent that Isaac Wilson has showed he has, I think he's lost so much confidence, Mitch, and it's an unfortunate situation this year. Most of it is not in Utah's control, but it just hasn't helped the development of this young man. I can't think that he came back to Salt Lake yesterday and felt good about where he was at. There's some awesome throws. He put the first touchdown on Travis Hunter of the entire season by anybody, and that was a perfect throw, by the way.
Yeah, to Dorian Singer.
It was a phenomenal throw, and Travis Hunter doesn't get caught with his shorts down like that very often, at all this year. And Isaac Wilson was the guy to break that code, and so was Dorian Singer. But, where's that guy without the mistakes? You know what I mean? And so he's got to have some time to develop. And unfortunately, they have 2 regular season games that they have to march through and obviously have, a good attitude about. But I would think that this Utah team could be on the cusp of going 4-8, having 8 losses in a row to end the season.
It's very possible. And you do wonder if this senior class, how motivated they are to try to get to the postseason. It'll be interesting to see what the approach is of this Utah team, but you did see kind of like BYU, we were talking about them earlier, but a little bit of a rivalry game hangover. It's real. I mean, I think that game last week in Rice-Eccles was so emotional, and I thought both these teams just fell a little bit flat. Utah was better off out of the gates than BYU with that pick from Barton, but they just seemed physically they didn't have it like we've been accustomed to with these teams this season. And, Utah still had 4 sacks on Shadur Sanders, and that defense was doing everything it could to, basically beg the offense do something in that first half. But then they just ultimately folded in that fourth quarter. You can't blame them because, they were doing everything they could for about, 40 minutes, and then they just kind of folded and withered away to Colorado's high-powered attack.
We got tons going on still, so we're going to take the break here. When we come back, we've got our top 12 headlines in the Big 12. It's First and 12. It's KSL News Radio, and we're also found, of course, on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. He's Mitch Harper. I'm Alex Kirry. We'll be back. More to go, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone and KSL News Radio.